Beyond the Numbers: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Revolutionizing Business Against All Odds. Good evening, everyone. I'm truly honored to stand before you today to share insights that have fundamentally altered my understanding of entrepreneurship in America. Recently, I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Shameka Butts, a visionary leader whose work has transformed the landscape for Black women entrepreneurs across the nation. Shameka isn't just a business strategist or advocate, she's a revolutionary force dismantling systemic barriers that have historically kept Black women from achieving their full entrepreneurial potential. Her methodical approach to creating pathways of opportunity has directly impacted thousands of businesses, generating millions in revenue for communities that have long been overlooked by traditional economic development initiatives. What Shameka shared with me wasn't just informative, it was transformative. Her insights illuminate not only what is, but what could be if we collectively decide to invest in the untapped genius of Black women entrepreneurs. Today, I invite you to journey with me through these revelations to see the entrepreneurial landscape through a lens that challenges everything we think we know about business, power, and possibility. Let me start with something that might shock you. Women now comprise nearly half, 47 to 49% of all new business owners in America. This isn't just a statistic, it represents a fundamental restructuring of our economic landscape. But within this broader trend lies a more nuanced story that centers Black women entrepreneurs who constitute 28% of all Black business owners. Yet here's the sobering reality Shameka highlighted: only 15% of these businesses report making a profit. Pause for a moment and let that sink in. The vast gap between participation and profitability reveals something critical about the entrepreneurial journey for Black women. Starting a business requires courage, vision, and determination. But sustaining and scaling that business in a system that wasn't designed for your success, that requires something else entirely. The entrepreneurial spirit of Black women isn't the issue, Shameka told me. It's the entrepreneurial ecosystem that continues to fail them. During our conversation, Shameka emphasized three key insights that I believe everyone in this room needs to hear, really hear, if we're serious about creating an economy that works for everyone. First, we're witnessing an unprecedented rise in women entrepreneurs, with Black women at the forefront of this movement, despite facing the steepest obstacles. Second, glaring funding and resource disparities persist that disproportionately affect women of color, creating what Shameka calls an innovation tax that the entire economy pays. And third, female entrepreneurship creates a powerful multiplier effect. When women lead businesses, they tend to hire more women, invest more in their employees' well being, and create business models that address community needs. Let's dig deeper into each of these insights because understanding them is essential to recognizing both the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. The rise of women entrepreneurs represents one of the most significant economic developments of our time. As Shameka explained, this isn't just about individual ambition, it's about collective transformation. Women of color constitute 39% of the female population, but account for an astonishing 89% of new women owned businesses launched daily. Black women, in particular, are starting businesses at a historic rate, often out of necessity when traditional employment fails to provide economic security or dignity. Black women aren't just starting businesses, Shameka emphasized, they're solving problems that established industries have ignored, creating products for underserved markets, and developing business models that prioritize community well being alongside profit. But here's where the story gets complicated and infuriating. While women of color own approximately 6.4 million businesses in the United States, they face staggering funding gaps. Of the $1.9 trillion generated by female owned companies, businesses owned by women of color account for only $422.5 million. That's not just a gap, it's a chasm. When we talk about economic empowerment, Shameka told me, we have to acknowledge that access to capital isn't just about money. It's about opportunity, legitimacy, and the ability to scale beyond survival mode. When we deny Black women entrepreneurs fair access to capital, we're not just harming them, we're robbing our entire economy of innovations, jobs, and solutions we desperately need. This brings me to a powerful example Shameka shared that illuminates both the challenges and remarkable resilience of Black women entrepreneurs in the United States. Despite making up 28% of Black entrepreneurs, only 15% of Black women business owners report running profitable enterprises. This isn't due to lack of innovation, determination, or business acumen. It's largely the result of systemic barriers to funding, mentorship, and market access. In response, forward thinking organizations across the country have created targeted funding initiatives and mentorship programs specifically designed for Black women business owners. The results speak volumes about what's possible when barriers are removed. Black women owned businesses have shown remarkable resilience, now accounting for 21% of all female owned companies in the United States. Even more impressive is the growth rate. Businesses managed by women of color have grown at a rate of 163% in recent years. This isn't just incremental change, it's exponential transformation that challenges our assumptions about who drives economic innovation. But the impact extends far beyond numbers on a spreadsheet. These businesses are creating new economic opportunities and providing powerful role models within communities that have historically faced systemic barriers to business ownership. When a Black woman opens a successful business in her community, she doesn't just create jobs, she creates possibility. She expands what's imaginable for the next generation. The challenges facing Black women entrepreneurs aren't unique to the United States. Shameka shared insights about women entrepreneurs in Latin America that reveal striking parallels. Despite high female representation in entrepreneurship, with 49% of women in Latin America having started their own businesses, 73% of companies led by women cannot access the economic resources necessary for growth. This global perspective matters because it helps us understand that the barriers facing Black women entrepreneurs are part of a broader pattern of gender based economic exclusion. In Latin America, only 70% of women own bank accounts compared to 77% of men. Women entrepreneurs are overrepresented in more precarious sectors within value chains, such as services, domestic work, and food production. Yet, despite these challenges, women's entrepreneurial activity has been recognized as a key opportunity to promote economic development with a human centered approach. As Shameka emphasized, when we invest in women entrepreneurs, we're not just supporting individual businesses, we're investing in a more equitable and sustainable economic future for everyone. This brings me to the third powerful example Shameka discussed: the global rise of high potential women led businesses. Historically, women entrepreneurs have faced barriers to scaling businesses and accessing capital for high growth ventures. But recent years have seen a significant shift. More women are perceiving new business opportunities, a 79% increase, and reporting enhanced startup skills, a 27% rise. The result? Women now lead 1 in 3 high growth companies and 2 in 5 export oriented startups across 45 countries. Women's startup activity has risen from 6.1% to 10.4% over the last 2 decades, with 1 in 10 women founding companies in 2023. This growth trajectory is creating what experts call a wave of wealth creation, with projections suggesting women could control 60% of the world's assets by 2030. The increasing presence of women in entrepreneurship is breaking the glass ceiling and represents a logical evolution of global capitalism toward higher value creation that benefits everyone economically. But perhaps the most powerful insight Shameka shared was about the multiplier effect of female leadership. When women lead businesses, they tend to employ more women, create more family friendly policies, and invest more in their employees' well being. For Black women entrepreneurs specifically, this represents an opportunity to build wealth within communities while addressing systemic barriers. The multiplier effect isn't just economic, it's social and cultural. Shameka explained. When Black women succeed in business, they change narratives, challenge stereotypes, and create new possibilities for generations to come. They transform what leadership looks like. This brings me to a profound truth that emerged from my conversation with Shameka. Supporting Black women entrepreneurs isn't just about addressing historical inequities, it's about unlocking untapped potential that benefits our entire economy and society. As the great Maya Angelou once said, you can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. When we apply this wisdom to entrepreneurship, we begin to understand that the creativity, innovation, and determination of Black women entrepreneurs represent an unlimited resource that has been systematically undervalued and underutilized. The question before us now is not whether Black women can succeed as entrepreneurs. They're already proving that every day, despite significant obstacles. The question is whether we as a society will remove those obstacles and create conditions where their success can flourish at scale. Shameka shared a powerful affirmation that guides her work. I am not just building a business, I am creating legacy, generating wealth, and transforming communities through my entrepreneurial journey. This perspective shifts entrepreneurship from being merely about profit to being about purpose, power, and possibility. So, where do we go from here? How do we transform the statistic that only 15% of Black women entrepreneurs report making a profit? First, we need intentional investment. Venture capital firms, angel investors, and financial institutions must acknowledge and address the funding gap facing Black women entrepreneurs. This isn't about charity, it's about recognizing untapped market opportunities and unrealized potential. Second, we need comprehensive support systems, mentorship, networking opportunities, and business development resources specifically designed to address the unique challenges facing Black women entrepreneurs are essential. Third, we need to challenge and change the narratives around who entrepreneurs are and what they look like. As Shameka emphasized, you can't be what you can't see. Increasing the visibility of successful Black women entrepreneurs creates powerful role models for the next generation. I stand before you today, not just as someone who interviewed an extraordinary leader, but as someone who has been fundamentally changed by her vision. What Shameka Butts has shown me, what Black women entrepreneurs across this country demonstrate every day, is that the future of business isn't just about profit margins and market share. It's about creating enterprises that heal, empower, and transform. The question isn't whether Black women entrepreneurs can change the world. The question is whether we have the courage to remove the barriers that stand in their way. Will you join me in answering that call? Will you commit to investing in, mentoring, patronizing, and amplifying Black women owned businesses? Will you challenge the systems that create 28% participation, but only 15% profitability? The future of our economy, indeed, the future of our society, depends on how we answer these questions. The untapped potential of Black women entrepreneurs isn't just their loss, it's all of ours. And unlocking it isn't just their responsibility, it's all of ours. Thank you.